So, good evening, dear hearts, and welcome to another episode of the Innerdance Show. And supporting us in our return to sacred flow this evening is the phenomenal Katie Holland. Now, Katie is the creator of Awakened Bellydance, and she's an award-winning, internationally renowned sacred dance therapist, professional dance artist, and teacher. She's performed for Bollywood celebrities while studying with masters of sacred cultural dances, tantra, shamanism, and energy healing technique. Katie's also studied with Pai Villaraza in 2014 for inner dance, and she's been instrumental in holding inner dance trainings throughout the world. She's currently one of the UK trainers as part of the global inner dance training happening this year. And I have to say, Katie has also been instrumental in my training and teaching in inner dance, and she was my trainer when I first started my journey a couple of years ago, and I've done some Awakened Belly Dance with her as well. So I cannot speak highly enough of this phenomenal woman, and just really delighted to have you on the show, Katie. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I'm used to doing podcasts with a video, so it was like, oh, I don't have to check if I've got chocolate on my face or anything. I can
No.
I can just sit here and talk. So it's yeah, it feels very chilled out, which is lovely.
Yeah,
And
makes nice.
thank you. Yeah, sorry.
So where are you at the moment, hey, Katie? Because I know that you're between Egypt and England, and so yeah, where are you located in this moment?
I'm in Egypt. My base is here in Dahab, which is in Sinai. So we're on the Red Sea, and
Be-
it's a Bedouin small town, big village kind of place.
Wow, beautiful. And I know that you do a lot of sacred work over there as well, don't you?
Yeah, it, it's interesting because I never expected to also be mermaiding as well, and because the Red Sea is so beautiful, it was something that really called me to training while I've been living here too. So I feel like I'm dancing in the waters and on the land these days.
Wow, okay, going back to your sort of amphibious roots. So tell me a little bit about the mermaiding then.
Um, I had an idea about 7 or 8 years ago that I thought I really want to learn this and also to do it with my daughter as well, who was about 15 at the time. And I couldn't find anybody who was teaching it. And so it took a few years to find a proper course. And so I completed that here in Egypt. And I wanted to combine it as another branch of Awakened Belly Dance, really, that there could be this therapeutic side to flapping around in a tail in the water. It's kind of another version of a belly dance costume, I guess, but with a tail. And yeah, and really connecting with the sacredness of the waters and the creatures who are in the sea. And so my focus is about this rather than, at the moment at least, rather than performance as a mermaid.
Wow, beautiful. And I've seen some of the photographs of you with your gorgeous tail, and I've never experienced anything like that myself. But when I have been part of an awakened belly dance process, for me, there's something about the sacred geometry of certain movements that really bring the crown and the tail and the whole body together. And I'm imagining that there might be something similar happening through the mermaiding.
Yeah, because there's this same wave-like movement through the spine that some people might work with for what we think of as Kundalini or moving the cerebrospinal fluid. And there's something there's like a different rhythm to the body when you make that movement. And I feel that obviously it's physically creating flexibility and strength in the spine, but also it shifts your perception in a different way, and especially when you're under the water doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine it's mind blowing. It sounds like I'll definitely have to give that a try. Um,
Yeah, it's really lovely.
But, for our listeners who've maybe never heard of you and or Awakened Bellydance, could you maybe just give us a little introduction to, well, I can speak to the potency of it, but to the creation and the process?
Yeah, it was I guess in several stages through my life. When I look back now, really the first stage started when I was 7, and then there was another stage when I was 19, and then another when I was 27. And when
Mm,
I finally really launched Awaken Belly Dance to the world, I was 34, 35, and I'm 45 now. So there were things that happened that were, you might class as awakenings or trauma, that also led to awakenings. Um, the way that I I was connected to the world or the collective consciousness, the things that I was opened up to. Um, it kind of took me on a journey that I didn't really understand, especially when I was a child. And then when I got to 27 and I was living in India and working as a professional belly dancer, and I had a kind of Kundalini explosion. I was unconscious, and when I came round, I heard a very clear message telling me you have to create a therapy with belly dance, and if you don't do that, you're going to die. So that took me on an 8 year inner exploration, which took me through all kinds of studies and completely transforming things in my life. And it's then continued till now. I think it it will be a lifelong exploration.
yeah. Well, it sounds like it has been from such a young age, and to receive such a clear message from source, sacred, however you might call that. So,
Mm.
I mean, really divine intervention, wasn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be. It's quite strange in the, I guess, the enormity of the things that have happened. I mean, I've almost died, sort of physically died 4 or 5 times now, and I've had lots and lots of near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences, and strange kind of afflictions or illnesses, and that it's almost been a um, physically like a fast track, I guess, um,
Mm,
on sort of preparing my body to be able to handle the amount of information and vibration that
yes.
I've been able to carry.
Yeah.
So physically, it's been pretty challenging, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like it's really taken you to some edges, and I find that
Mm.
so inspiring how you're able to perceive it and acknowledge it as readying you to be able to hold that level of information and vibration. I imagine that there might have been times it didn't feel like that.
No, it was there were lots of times of what on earth is happening to me, and why why does it have to be in this way? And of
Yeah.
course, when you're going through these things, or dark night of the soul, or a
Mhm.
complete annihilation of everything in your life, it can feel like, why is this happening to me right now? And why can't I just have a peaceful life? But then as these things happened over and over again, I began to realize that actually it was a really integral part of the
Mhm.
journey that my soul chose to take this time. Um, so it's yeah, it's definitely been interesting, and I have lots of tales to tell about all kinds of things.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, gosh. So so for the last 10 years, you've been really, I'm assuming, very focused on developing the sacred practice of awakened belly dance. And perhaps you could give us just some information about what's involved in that, for anyone that would like to look that up and be curious
Mm.
about what it is.
Um, Well, I started discovering around, I suppose, my early 20s, because I've been studying belly dance since I was 15. So this year it's 30 years.
Wow.
Um, and actually it's even before that. So when I was 7, many things happened, and one of them was that I saw Egyptian hieroglyphs for the first time in a museum in Leicester, where I grew up in England. And when I saw them, I had this really strong feeling that the positions meant something, especially
Yeah.
the arm positions. And this really stuck with me. And it was around that time that I started to have lots of out of body experiences and astral travel and
Yeah.
this kind of thing. So that really stuck with me. And then when I started to learn belly dance as dance, I would ask teachers and say, well, what do these arm positions mean? Because then I saw that some of them were the same as in the hieroglyphs, and nobody
Yeah.
could tell me what it meant. And then much later, so after I had this first Kundalini, I was studying Gurdjieff movements, and this with the same teacher, also Sufi whirling and Osho dynamic meditation. This also was in India, and I was with her for 3 years, doing intensive training, and um, and she also had studied belly dance, so it was a really perfect match for
Mm.
me. And what she didn't tell me until much later on was that she'd had the same thing happen to her with this explosion and going unconscious, and
Wow.
that she'd recognized this in me the minute the first class I had shown up to. And um and I'd gone there thinking I need to do something for myself to balance out this crazy showbiz life, and also to learn how to really stay in my body and manage my energy. And so after, because I was quite terrified of her at first,
Mm.
at least for a year, and when I got more courageous, I said to her, what do these arm positions mean? Because in some of the Gurdjieff dances, they're also included. And she said to me, oh, yeah, they do mean something. And I thought, finally, I'm going to know. And then she said, and one day you're going to find out for yourself. And I was like, no, you can't do this to me. And her saying that really shifted something inside of me, because I went away and was furious about it, and then thought a lot about it as well. And I realized that there didn't have to be a fixed meaning, that actually these arm positions could be anything I wanted to be, and that could change in any moment as I felt they needed to.
Hmm.
So this helped me to get out of a fixedness,
Yes.
because the the last 10 years is when I have been holding trainings and calling Awakened Belly Dance. But for 8 years before that, so this is 18 years ago, I I was had to experiment, because nobody could tell me any information about what I wanted to know, like how to work with brain waves and how to work with Kundalini in the body and with touch and these different states of consciousness. And so I I really had to wait for the information to come to me, and little by little I would get something. Like in Tai Chi, I realized that there's a similar movement, and in Tai Chi it's working on the kidneys, and I thought, right, so if it does this in Tai Chi, it must be doing something similar or the same in belly
Mm.
dance. And I started to build a toolkit, you could call it. And um and then I just started shifting the awareness to what was happening inside of the body with the movements, because when you learn to belly dance, the focus is so much on that aesthetic. Even if you don't perform, it's about the technique. And of course, everybody loves wearing the costumes and getting dressed up. And it yeah, it's like, how do I look when I create this movement with my body? And you want it to be as perfect as you can be. And I thought, okay, well, if I flip that round and I take the attention away from having these really fixed aesthetics, what would happen when we create the movements with an internal focus? and how can we move our energy, our emotions, and our blood and the information that's stored in our body. How can this all be shifted around and looked at in a different way when we make those same movements?
Wow. Firstly, I really can feel and hear the love for your practice coming through your voice. And I'm really struck by the depth of curiosity that your life of this, it might not feel this way to you, but I'm connecting with the depth of, and commitment of research through conscious embodiment and finding a deeply ancient and new way for people to connect in those ways.
I hope so. It's really something that I feel it's been alive in me. I think
Mm,
I was born with this information. That's the
yes,
only way I can explain it. And at
yes,
the same time, there's a remembering as well. And when I hold trainings or workshops for Awakened Bellydance, I always say to people that we've all done this together so many times, and
yes.
maybe this lifetime I happen to be the one that remembered it first, and
Mm,
we've drawn together, and maybe another time it was you or you or you, and it's something um, that's in the morphic resonance
mm,
of us, and and somehow I was able to tap into it and make different connections with the ancient Egyptian alchemy as well, and
yeah,
lots and lots of sort of different things that seem to come together in a format that I thought, oh wow, I have like a an actual theory behind this. It's not just we're not just getting together and wriggling our hips. There is a real kind of structure to it as well.
absolutely. So really rooted in ancient knowings, and I love that how you're tuning into that, this and the circularity of time, and how everyone who's called to this work with you, that perhaps they've held space in another way, and that there's this sort of evolution of inner dance and revolution of it. Uh, I'm not sure if
Mm.
I'm describing it well. I mean, but really just wanting to acknowledge how you've sort of named and how you name that to the people that train with you. I imagine that must really evoke something very deep and powerful for them.
Yeah, I think it and what I hope is that it puts the power with them, that it's not that I'm on a pedestal and oh I'm this guru, or you know I'm not into that in any way at all, and I really, what my wish is that people can realize that every each of us has this knowledge inside of us, and
Yes,
it's finding our keys. It's not something that's outside of us, that oh I have to do this to be enlightened or to be at a certain level. Again, with everything, I always flip it around, and I see it as it's something that's already inherently within us, but it's all these are the things that have got in the way. So whether it's about fear of our power, about the self-sabotage, about soul contracts that we've made in other lifetimes, um, soul contracts that maybe our ancestors have made around power,
hmm,
and I've found time and time again that people will get to a certain point and then they'll feel like they want to shrink, and they're afraid of themselves. And
yeah,
I think that this goes back to whether it's their own soul's experience or it's somebody in their bloodline who has experienced being killed or being tortured or ostracized for their power,
yes,
and and this also, it can be so alive within us. And so a lot of my work is about how to sort of get out of our own way, but also looking at these, I think of it a bit like filters rather than blocks, like these filters that are in the way really us and that truth within ourselves, so that there can be an amalgamation,
Mm.
and then through this people can do exactly the same thing in accessing ancient knowledge, collective knowledge. It's everything is there for us.
Yes, beautiful. So this really is an awakening and a remembering. Something about clearing the filters, as you say, so that we can access those contracts or promises made that inhibit us from really stepping into our purpose and our sovereignty in this lifetime.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I think now more than ever we're all being called to do this when you look
yeah,
at the state of the world and how much we're being conditioned to stay small.
hmm,
And this happens from childhood, and how important it is to step out and step up and speak our truths and really come together as tribe or as community, and bring this power forward so that
hmm.
we can live as we're meant to live.
Beautiful.
Mm.
I imagine it's very moving to bear witness to individuals and groups coming into themselves, really sort of tapping into that, the frozen filters and the energy that has been lying perhaps dormant or suppressed start to move through their bodies, and for them to really take hold of again.
Yeah, I think it's one of the highest privileges that I
Yeah,
could experience. It's so um, it's just humbling to see people open and to open themselves and to
yeah,
put that trust in you, but also in the group, because very quickly the trust is there.
yeah.
There's a different kind of connection, and this is what people comment on a lot, is that they they feel that they know people and they've known them for eons, even though they've
Mm,
never met before that they know of. And yeah, and to witness that and to see the journeys and the transformations that people go through, and knowing that there's a group that has their back, and that yeah, they have the freedom to choose. And so this expands out into every aspect of people's lives, whether relationships or jobs or having babies or creating something new, or it can be absolutely anything. And I I always feel, yeah, just such joy to see this, and to see that it these people are making the choices for themselves. It's not me there with an agenda saying, right, you're going to do this with your life, or I
mhm.
think you should do this. It's more, okay, what do you want to do? What do you love? What do you feel passionate about? And let's do this. And I like go for it.
Yes, yes. So I guess it, for me, it sounds like a real parallel to, or not dissimilar to, your teacher or mentor who said that you would discover for yourself what the meaning of those arm movements were. But something about that inner directed wisdom and intelligence, that you're holding space for others to discover their own truth and to make the choices, make discerning choices in support of their freedom and expansion.
Yeah, I've had really amazing teachers. I've been so lucky, and I and the ones who are my main teachers who have been most instrumental. I've the way that I've met them or found out about them has all been in very mysterious ways, and and there's only one who is still alive right now, and she's from England, and I've done more work on the shamanic dance side with her, and we, yeah, they've all had this way opening a door, but at the same time giving me some kind of encouragement or an access code, like you're going to discover this for yourself, that's
Mm,
then let me go in the direction again that I've chosen. It's there's not been any kind of fixed way. It's like,
mm,
okay, they've done the work before me,
mhm.
and are sort of holding the torch on the path, and I can follow that path in whatever way is good for me. And
Yes.
yeah.
And I have to say, from my experiences of you being the teacher, is that you really hold that, and that really comes through the quality of your teaching and how you inspire and encourage certainly myself and others to again sort of discover for themselves that you are bearing the torch so that we can fumble about in the dark and discover our own pathway. It's
Y-
it's such
yeah, and
a experience. And one I'm so grateful for.
yeah, and I'm just a few steps ahead, fumbling on my own path as well. and then Aisha, who I just mentioned, she's a few steps ahead. Well, about 25 years ahead, stumbling on her path. So
Yeah, so we're all on this path, sort of sometimes we're ahead, sometimes we're behind, but we're all sharing the same path, or passing the
mm,
torch to each other.
yeah, yeah, and sharing the torch as well.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, such lovely imagery and metaphors coming through and codes coming through this conversation, Katie.
Mm, yeah, honestly, almost since we started, I had tears in my eyes.
Well, yeah, I have to say, I found it was at the beginning, I was a little bit tongue-tied. I don't know what that was about. Usually I can get my words out really easily, but there was something sort of coiling or curling, and my inner snake, I think, was just trying to find her way up and through. And actually,
Yeah.
I always create an image when I'm speaking to someone in this space. Just, I don't know, it helps me to connect. And it's a bit like a snake that's coming through. I'll send you a photo of it later. So there's obviously
Mm,
something about that for me. But anyway,
yeah, lovely.
so it's about 7:30 now, and I wondered if now might feel like a good time for you to maybe hold the space for us and to share a process that we could, as listeners,
Mm,
enjoy and join you in.
okay. Yeah, and I'll do my best to explain without you being able to see me. And I'm going to stand up as well to dance with you.
Yeah, I'll stand up too. So, wherever you are, if it feels right to do so, maybe you want to join us by standing up.
Yeah, and if your hair's tied up, shake it loose. And if you've got shoes on or socks, it's great to be barefooted for this. Okay, and then take your feet so they're underneath your hips with your toes pointing forwards and your knees bent over your toes. So you feel like your spine is dropping down and your tailbone tucking in a little bit. Then pull up through your crown, dropping your shoulders, and bring your hands into a triangle with your thumbs meeting and your first fingers, and then the triangle over your womb space. So whether you have a physical womb, or maybe if you're a man, you still have this energy, you have this creative power that's held here in the sacral area. And if you breathe in and out through your mouth, so we breathe in together and out together through your mouth. Breathing in through your mouth and out through your mouth. And as you continue with this breathing, feel your jawbone and your tongue letting go and relaxing with every breath. And we mostly breathe through our mouths in Awakened Bellydance because it connects with the yoni, with the perineum, with the anus, and it helps to relax above and below. Feel the earth holding you. Take your hips into a circle, whichever way you're drawn to move. Very slowly, keeping your knees soft and your hands connected to your physical body. If you feel the edges of your hands, your little fingers in the groove of your groin, so you can give a little bit of pressure in there as your hips come forward in the circle. And if you close your eyes and see if you can scan your body. So some of you might see it visually, some of you might get some kind of feeling or knowing or a physical sensation. And scan through your body and see which parts of your body are holding you, your true essence, and which parts of you are maybe a little bit empty, where you're outside of your body. And as you notice the emptier places, you might get a memory or an image, something maybe that's happened in your life where you disconnected from yourself, or where maybe it was easier to be in a daydream rather than look at what was happening to you. And you might not get anything through that's tangible as such, but you might feel drawn to certain areas of yourself. And back to the center, bend your knees a little bit more and twist your hips in a figure of 8. One hip comes forward and then twists back. Feel your weight shifting from one side to the other. You can release your arms and let them follow the shape of your hips. And remember, it's not about how this looks, it's about the feeling in your body and how you can connect with yourself. And if you can visualize that you're inside a densely wooded area. And again, some parts are dark, some parts are light, some you can't quite see. With your hips and your hands, you're sending crystalline water through every part of the area, to every space and place, above and below, all around you, cleaning out any dead wood, any old stories, anything that doesn't belong to you. And any imposed containments or boundaries that have been set around you from outside of yourself by people's words or thoughts, actions, judgments. Now take your focus into the roots of all those trees, the ones that are still standing strong and pristine, the healthiest and flexible. And with your fingertips, sending crystalline waters all the way through the roots to the spaces in between, all the hidden places. Anywhere that there's disconnections, weave it back together with your hips, through your tailbone, twisting, shifting. Feel yourself sitting more deeply into your foundational roots, your true roots. Feel your fingertips reaching all the way to the ends of those roots, back to the beginning of the beginning. When did your roots first begin? When did they come alive? All the way to the very beginning, where the ends of your roots are like sparks, tiny sparks of creation firing. Like neurons connecting through your roots, and at the same time activating your physical brain neurons. Come back to the center and bring your body into a wave through your spine. Breathe through your mouth, your belly and spine going forward and back. With your hands in a triangle over your sacral space. And you might feel that the soles of your feet are more electric or more magnetic. And with every wave of your body, breathe yourself back into your physical body. Only you, the highest vibrational, purest essence of you, so that you're filling every place. Every cell is filled with your magic, with your being. And pay attention to those areas that you felt were empty before. Breathe your whole self into yourself. And again, take a scan of your body. Do you feel whole, complete? Are you here and present Are you ready to take your space in this reality, in this existence? Can you give yourself permission to align with your true and highest soul path? Who did you come here to be? What did you come here to remember? And allow your body to move you in your remembering. How is this expressed? Dancing your whole self into your whole energy field. Expand yourself. Who are you really? And breathing. Flowing and shifting. Bring the palms of your hands down to the earth. Taking a breath. And out loud saying, I am. And whichever word or words come to you right now, even if it doesn't make sense. I am. Who are you? Truth, who are you? Slowly coming up, give yourself a gentle shake. Have a look around your space. Make sure that everything looks clear, that you're here, and fully connected. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Just taking some moments to harvest and gather, however that was for each of us. I can speak into how magnetized my feet were, how rooted and solid. I could feel my connection to deep earth and a sense of alignment. I'm always breathtaken by the potency of this practice. So I'm just so grateful for your generosity in holding space for us. Yeah, the frequencies of truth which you speak and hold space for really connect with me at such a deep level. You know, every cell is vibrating in harmony with each other, and that doesn't always happen for me. So thank you for that.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah,
Yeah, and something that is something that we do in Awakened Bellydance is that nothing is planned. Everything is intuitive. So
yeah,
for what we did right now, I had no idea what I was going to do, what I was going to say. Um, it's the way that I train people is to be completely in the moment and to be completely with the energy of the people that they're with, as well as their own energy, because of course we're we're shifting through our own body at the same time. So our body is guiding us in
Yes.
this, and yeah, we don't plan anything.
Yeah. Beautiful. And again, the frequency of presence is so potent. You know, feel so met, held, and seen by you as you hold, meet, and see yourself at the same time. That
Mm,
that dual attention. It's beautiful. Um,
yeah.
and we're coming towards, you know, the last quarter of the show, and there's part of me that doesn't want to shift focus away. So I'm going to hold my dual attention with my own experience of what's just happened, and also to make the most of this time with you, Katie. Um,
Mm.
I'm aware that at the moment you have your 21-day offering, and maybe you could speak a little bit about that for the listeners.
Yeah, it's 21 days of Awakened Bellydance, and it's about 20 minutes a day live in a Facebook private group. But even if somebody can't make it live, the recordings stay there. And we started this in 2020 in lockdown, and it was part of the beginning of my Blue Lotus journey.
Mm,
And I'd been working with the Lotus for a month, 2 months, and with lockdown, I was stuck in England, and all my work for the year and everything had been cancelled, and I
yeah.
was not in a happy state of mind, let's say. And one day I was in the shower, and this is usually where I get my inspirations, and I suddenly thought, "Ha, we need to do this 21 days online and just put it out there." And so I spoke to the women who had trained with me up until that point, and we said, okay, we'll take it in turns each day. Let's just see what happens. And we had almost 1,000 people from around the world, and it was so beyond words. It was absolutely amazing, and because everybody was in lockdown in all the different countries, we had 100, 200 people live online with us every day.
Wow.
And it yeah, it was I could never have imagined what what that would be like. And then we ended up doing it back to back because everybody said, what will we do? You know, we you can't finish now. So we ended up doing something like 50 days in a row, because I did a Katie story time in the middle as well. And then it's become a free offering that we do each year. And usually the people that have taken the most recent training
Hmm.
facilitate as part of it, so that they can also have experience of facilitating online. And then also there'll be facilitators from other years as well. And yeah, and we go on this journey together, and we're on, where are we now? We're just about three quarters of, or two thirds of the way through now. But people can still join, and as I say, the recordings are there, so you can work your way through them. And there's recordings from other years, and it is a really lovely group, and very
Mm.
supportive and very safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, you
And I
just have to email me.
Yeah, wonderful. And I'll share all of that information with all the listeners, but certainly can't highlight enough what a potent process this is, and to really encourage everyone who's listening to have a go, and to work through the root all the way up through the chakras to the crown, and just experience for yourself where this can take you. It's
Mm,
such a beautiful gift to have out there every year, and and even for me, if I'm, you know, I can just go in and go, right, I need to work with sacral, and there's this beautiful archive of just phenomenal space holders in their power, working intuitively. It's medicinal.
Yeah, and I love it as well because everybody brings their own flavor to
Yeah,
it.
it,
It's not that everybody's a clone of me. I really encourage people to bring everything that they are to
yeah,
it and express it in that way.
yeah,
So the yeah, it's very unique, as you say, and really beautiful. I do it for myself as well. And I mean, I facilitate 2 or 3 sessions usually each year, but I'm also there every day and
yeah.
dancing it for myself.
Yeah, and being held, because you're holding space so
Mm,
for other people. So how beautiful to be held in such
yeah,
beautiful, in such great hands as well. And
yes.
and you mentioned Blue Lotus, and I know because you introduced me to Blue Lotus, but some of us maybe have heard of Blue Lotus, but I know it's a very sacred part of your life. Maybe you could speak to that for a few minutes.
Yeah, as I say, this started for me in the lockdown, and I at that point I never imagined that I would be living in Egypt. It wasn't really something, even with the belly dance, it wasn't a place I'd ever considered to live.
Hmm.
And I had been living in Bulgaria for 3 years before that, and I'd got a retreat center there. And before that, I was in Bali for 3 years, and before that, I was in India for 9 years.
Wow.
So I now, when I look back, I can actually see that the lotus has always been there, but
Yeah.
I I wasn't recognizing her in the way that I do now. And it's quite funny, even this huge chunky necklace that I've got with a lotus carved into it, I'd never actually clicked that oh, it's a lotus. I've been wearing it for about 10 years. And and I partly wanted to work with the lotus for ancestral healing, and also because I've always had very crazy dreams and
Mhm.
nighttime activities. I wanted to see if it could help me make sense of some of that,
Sure.
and and I got very very clear answers, quick, like almost immediately, and really tangible messages that were coming through. Um, then, as I say, the idea for the 21 days, and then um, I so that was sort of March time 2020. Then by the next January, I was in Egypt, and on a Blue Lotus adventure. And me and my friend Sabrina, we travelled around Egypt for 5 months, uh, and we went to pretty much well, definitely every known temple, and lots of places not so known, and of course everywhere was empty. And we we were able to go to places that either were no people, and usually there
Hmm.
would be thousands of people, like you
Yeah.
say, Luxor Temple, or to places that we wouldn't have had access to usually.
Yeah.
And all the time we were drinking the Blue Lotus, and just seeing what happened, what might happen really. And then along the way, I got connected with. There's only a handful of people actually growing Blue Lotus in Egypt, but somehow without any effort, I was being connected with them, and everything was just, it was very organic. And then I ended up living in Cairo, and I was working there in a holistic center, and I got connected with Mona, who has the Together Temple, and it's her lotus products that I work with, and that, like, you use them.
Yeah.
And um, and so working with her, we were holding ceremonies together and combining with Awakened Bellydance as well. And so, through a very personal journey, the lotus was bringing insights to me, and in how to work with her energy, and through Awakened Belly Dance, and of course with the Egyptian connection from the ancient alchemy. it
Hmm.
was it was a very obvious synergy.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I didn't like everything I've done, I didn't have any plan that I'm going to do this and I'm going to teach about the lotus. And now me and Mona, we're just planning to hold a lotus ceremonial training for later this year.
Wow.
I could never ever have imagined that this is where it would take me. And like everything that I've studied, it's always been for my own personal healing and spiritual development. And then it's just taken me on these pathways that people have said, oh, can you teach me about this, and can you do this, and I've just said, okay, let's do it. And and yeah, the lotus is such a beautiful,
Mm,
inspirational water lily. And um and and I love it because everybody again has their own unique path with her. It's
hmm.
not like there's one person who's the queen of the lotus and who's going to control, and have all the knowledge. She really opens what what we hold already. It's that same kind of thing. And me and Mona always say that it's like everybody's a part of this huge
Hmm.
synarchy, this
Hmm.
big puzzle. And it's really through the co-collaboration that the the actual essence of the blue lotus comes through.
Yeah.
And we've seen this happening with working with her. And it yeah, the co-collaboration is a huge aspect of the
Hmm.
lotus.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. I hear your love
Mm.
for her also. Yeah,
Mhm.
I had experiences where when I've shared Blue Lotus with others, there's something so more profound happening. I, I I felt as if she wanted to be in community. You know,
Mm.
up until a certain point, I'd sort of been working with her just on my own and at home every day, and it was one of the first times that I had shared. It was the first opportunity really to share with some friends, and yeah, that I found that so striking. Her intelligence and her desire communicating that she wanted to be enjoyed and respected in that way. And I've never
Mm.
I've done one or two plant medicines, but I've never had an experience where there was such a sense of yearning from the plant to be known in community.
It, yeah, it's a very subtle, and at the same time, I think one of the most
Yeah.
potent. um I don't even know what the word is. I want to say aliveness.
Mm,
There's something that it really permeates your whole nervous system, but in
yes.
a way that you could almost not notice.
Yes. Yes.
And
It's a real whisper.
um, a whisperer, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mhm.
So, for those of you out there who are curious, Blue Lotus is available, and Katie is also someone who supports Blue Lotus in the UK. So, unless I buy all the products first, because you will be in competition with me, try your luck and get in touch with Katie. Otherwise, join the back of the queue. But anyway, Katie, we're coming up to the end of the show already. I could speak to you for millennia. Um, but
Mm.
because I am a bookworm, do you have a book that you would recommend to us as listeners that vibrates highly for you?
Yeah, there's a book called Initiation by Elizabeth Haich. Yeah, I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's Haich.
Yeah.
And it's very connected with ancient Egypt. And
Okay.
the way I'm writing a book at the moment about my own experiences and things.
Mm,
And it took me a long time to actually get the book, it wasn't available. And when I read it, the way that she's written it is the way that I've been writing mine. It's
Okay.
kind of quirky, a little bit quirky. And there were so many things about what happened to her, because this is from sort of 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And the things that happened to her and the near death experiences and the almost physical deaths and
Yeah.
the seeing things and
Hmm.
just the connections that she was making as a child, and
Hmm.
then not really understanding that nobody else around her was experiencing this, and then being really confused, and then being quiet because feeling like she was so weird. And it's like almost like every page I can see this recognition in myself, and
Mm.
it really helped me to feel more of a relaxation, I suppose, in my body of, okay, it's not only me.
Yeah.
There's and also to see what she then went on to do, and as she got older as well.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a really amazing book, and it's instigated many dreams as well while I was reading it, and lots of information and activations in my body.
Ah, beautiful. Well, I'll definitely be getting a
Mm.
copy then. How wonderful to experience that living mirror and that sense of kin through the book.
I would have loved to have met her.
Well, it
Um,
sounds like you'd have.
I suppose, yeah, I suppose so. Like, is this me? Is it?
Yeah.
So,
It sounds like there was certainly a dance taking place between you both
mm,
as you poured over her words.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. And do you have any pearls of wisdom for us, Katie, what your own or maybe someone else's that has really resonated with you? Just to leave us.
Um, yeah, my very first belly dance teacher, Sylvia, who I met when I was 15, and at the time she was 63, and sadly she died 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And she was a really big influence on me through, yeah, all of my life. And I always stayed in contact with her. I went to visit her when I was in England. And she, on her room where we would have the class, because I
Mm-hmm.
would go to her house for my classes, she had this little post-it note, and on it was written, "Everything God forbids is possible."
Mm.
And I wasn't brought up in a religious family or anything like that, but the first time I saw it, and I thought, what? And again, took me a good while to pluck up the courage and say, well, what does that mean? And she said, of course, everything God forbids is possible. It's you can do, you can be, whatever you want to be, you can do it. And this really stayed with me,
Mm.
and I've lived my life by that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it yeah, it's always stayed with me.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah.
thank you for that. And from listening to you and from what I know of you directly, Katie, you certainly you live that truth every day. So,
Thank
wow.
you.
So, well, thank you for your time. It's been a real glorious journey this evening, and I so appreciate your generosity in speaking into this aliveness of being that you consciously embody and support in others every day. Just so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm curious, is there anything else you'd like to say before we sort of end the call and I end the recording?
Just thank you so much for inviting me. I feel like I feel like a baby again. Like, these things that we've spoken about, some of it is from
Mm-hmm.
when I was very young, when I was a child. And it's and I think doing the process as well, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting here and I feel, yeah, like a baby with fresh eyes on the world again.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Okay. So, dear hearts, we come to the end of another Inner Dance show. So, sweet lucid dreams, and please check out Katie Holland and Awakened Bellydance. And much love to you all. Have a great evening.